Hello everyone, and welcome to this new series. This is based around Photoshop this time. I got a few comments last time saying that they are really invested in the idea of doing a series tutorial. The first one I did was through Maya, and I'm gonna continue doing that because I really do enjoy it. But this time we're going to be doing Photoshop. Same foundations again. We're going to go through the basics on how to set up, how to get around, heads-up display, toolbars, and whatnot. I don't think there's that much to cover in this one in comparison to the Maya one, but we're going to see how we go. For an update, I know I did put the second Maya video at 40 minutes long, and it was way too big in my opinion. So what I'm going to do is if I hit a point where the video gets a bit too long, I'm going to cut it into 20-minute segments. Therefore, it's easier for you guys to follow in what to do. So you don't have to spend ages scrolling through an entire 40-minute clip just to find something that you may need. In addition to that, since I remind myself, I need to start linking in specific segments of the video timeline where stuff happens. So if you guys just say, oh, how do I find this? I can highlight that on the timeline and it makes it easier for you guys to access. Makes it easier for me as well because then I become more easier to reach, if you would say. Anyhow, let's get on with it. So, what we're going to do for now, I feel like so is a really overused word for me. So, we are gonna open up Photoshop. So I'm gonna type up Photoshop here and open that bad boy up. Now, when we open up Photoshop, you're gonna get this pretty pop-up box initializing everything, and I'm gonna drag Photoshop over here. Now, this is what you're greeted with. As you can tell, I've spent many a time on Photoshop throughout different concepts and whatnot, and even some of my thumbnails. You can see all of that, right? Cool. What we're gonna do is we're gonna open up one of the projects that I might have been working on. This might be for uni, but it's not really gonna give anything away because I'm not under any NDAs, of course. I hope so at least. Shit. Anyway, what we're going to do is we are going to open up a new project. So I'm guessing you guys just want to make a new project since you are just starting. So we have down here just a home, learn, Lightroom, photos, cloud documents, shared with you and deleted. Anyway, if we click on create new, we get another pop-up box or dialog box, whichever one you want to call it. And on the top tabs, they have different presets made for you, like Art, Illustrator, Web, Mobile. They're all suited or tailored, if you want to use nice words. They're all tailored to what you may use. The recent is just an ease of access for you. So I usually use 1080p on 72 ppi. It's just because I'm using screens half the time for this stuff, so I don't really need to specifically tune up down here what I need to do. So, in the custom, that's mine. I usually go on that. We'll go on that in a minute. But first, I want to direct your attention to the preset details. So, say if I was to say, my workplace, just an example, I think this means to save a preset. Yeah, I think I save this preset and it comes onto here. But I'm not going to do that because it's already on recent. This preset detail here, yeah, that'll just be the name. Uh, why am I failing today? I just woke it up. The width is 1920 by 1080. Now be careful because sometimes this might be in pixels, inches, centimeters, millimeters, points, or picas. I would make sure to check this before you go in. And even when you change over, it converts the units to 1920 1080p pixels into centimeters exactly. So that's not going to change. It's just the units. So if your client or you might want to change the units, or you might need to change to a print, it will change it to these little units here, specifically to what they're set in real life, of course. So, but for now, we're going to just go 920 by 1080 pixels as a landscape orientation, so a horizontal based orientation. Um, hmm, I'm going to leave this where it is. I usually use PPI, pixels per inch, apart from pixels per centimeter. So I leave that at 300 if I like it. RGB color. Now, I usually just mess with these three. Grayscale is just the spectrum between black and white. So it's just going to be a black and white photo, or painting, or whatever. RGB is red, green, blue, and this is mainly for projects that will just be viewed on a screen. Yeah, and then CMYK, that's cyan, magenta, yellow, and oh my god, what is that last one called? Kryptonite. Anyway, that one is basically for any printouts that you do. Because if you see in a printer, they have not RGB, they have different colored ink cartridges, and that is what happens. You click on this, and Photoshop will therefore change up the colors so it matches the printer cartridges that will be used, so all your colors turn out the right way. Because if we used RGB, then it will come out looking a bit iffy. Might not be completely bad, but you can tell the difference. You can change it to 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit. Now, I think if you change it to 8-bit, you won't get as many of these options. So I usually just stick it on 16-bit for now. Yep, background contents. You want it white, you want it black, background color, transparent if you're doing sprites and whatnot for video games, or even to drag an icon into Premiere, After Effects, yada yada yada. Even if you're making really cool stickers, which I really should do. I'm gonna do that. And then your custom, but I've never clicked that. Working profile is Adobe RBG, which they've used since '98. Wait. No, that's a lie. It'll be the top one. The working RGB, sRGB, whichever one you want to call it. Right, great. Then we'll just create. Wow, I'm 7 minutes into this video already. Jeez, I'm not going to get far with this. So, this is the main setup for Photoshop. Now, before I continue, I must explain that I am using a Wacom tablet, so I'm going to have to just change that quickly. Give me a sec. Cool. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So, we have a very like toned down version of Photoshop right here. We've got everything tabbed up and everything. So we're just gonna reset all of this. This is the original look that you were greeted with in Photoshop. So let me just take you through a few things, and we'll just take it nice and easy. Very quickly, we've got the main toolbar on the very left of your screen right here. These comprise of your move, your oh my god, why have I forgot these names right now? Yeah, your marquee tool, your lasso tool, I like to call this the wand tool, even though inside they have a magic wand tool, but still. The crop tool, this one is frame tool, so you put whatever's in there, and yeah, that's really cool. I'll just let that show you what it does, because it's weirdly cool sci-fi future stuff. Eyedropper tool, this is insanely helpful when you need to match colors up just to make sure that your color schemes are right and your lighting works out really well. Spot healing brush is brilliant for removing spots or that abscess on your butt cheek. Uh, Paintbrush tool, this is great. I'll just do something like this now. I can just paint on here and put a little smiley face on. Yee, yee. Derp. Anyway, moving on, we've got the clone stamp tool. So if you want to grab something and then place it elsewhere, that can work, as you can fairly see there. History brush, I've never had to use this, but, well, as you can see there, it just restores parts of an image to an earlier state, which is really cool. You can keep out some clouds, but revert back to your original image the way you left it. So you can bring in parts that you wanted to take out. The eraser tool, pretty self-explanatory, to be honest. I keep this quite toned down because if I wanted to immediately erase something, I would turn the opacity to full and then be like, oh no, I'm losing everything. So yeah, I'm just gonna wipe all of this out. I feel like a school teacher with the board where they used to go boop, 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 boop. Anyway, the eraser tool, yep. We have the gradient tool, which obviously sets up a gradient nicely for you. So if we did this, oh wait, it's on white everywhere. So we did blues. There's a nice blue in here. Oh yes, I'll take that. So if we just clicked and dragged all the way to here and let go, have a nice radial gradient here, and each gradient is set up by linear, radial. I like to call this the clock radiant or something like that, or radar radiant, because it looks like a radar. Horizontal linear radiant, or ramp, as I like to call it, and this diamond gradient, which I never actually used before. Ugh, that looks a bit ugly and tacky. No offense. We have the smudge tool. This one's insanely cool because then we can, if I unlock this layer and do finger painting, I can just mess around with this if I fancy it. And looking at it now, it looks like it could be very nice for water effects, like you see on those TikToks. Sounds so old saying that. Next one would be the burn and dodge tools. Yep. So this would darken or lighten an image or desaturate it, as you can see on here. These petals are getting nicely dark, so it brings them out more or contrasts them. So it shows more of that, not depth, but it works a bit like an ambient occlusion. And what I mean that is it brings out the more of the curves. It gives it more shape, more form. Yeah, more form, I would say. The pen tool is brilliant because you can create custom shapes if you need to. Select, you can make a shape out of it if you need to, or select around an object and make a marquee out of it. Yeah, and that's great. I will show you these later on. I'm just going through these very quickly. Smudge, my pen, normal type, and then you just click anywhere after clicking on the type button. You can either do horizontal or vertical or mask the other way. So yeah, if like I said, I've just clicked on there. I'm going to take this all the way up. And as soon as you click on the text tool on the left side, you should be able to just start right away. I'm actually going to do that again because I messed it up. Oh, okay, that was a bit big. And you get visited with this Aurorem ipsum, which is, I think, originally Latin for, I don't know. It'll probably pop up somewhere on the screen. So yeah, I just click on the text, click anywhere that I want to type up, and then just type away. And there we go. If you highlight the entire thing, you can change up the color, whatever you want. It will update in real time, so you don't have to worry about anything. So yeah, it's very easy to use. This looks so ugly right now. This is something that I would possibly use in like primary school at the age of 10 for a cold Call of Duty channel. which I never had. Anyway, we'll delete that and come back to here. This one I never really use at all, but this is a path selection brush. This is if you need to edit a shape that you put in. So, for example, if I yes, if I have an ellipse right here or a circle for you simpler folk, I'm going to change up this color back to yellow. And say if I want to just dent it a little bit. Ah, why won't you work? That's what I want to do. Wait, I might need to use pen tool for this. Do shape. Yeah. So this mainly works with the pen shape one. Ah, this is pointless. Direct selection tool. There we go. So that makes more sense. So this comes in two batches. So you either have a whole path selection, which is the entire path alongside that makes up the shape, or you can do a direct selector, which takes out certain aspects of this path, like the corners, and you can edit them like this. Moving on, which is your obvious shape tool. This comes in many different form, like rectangle, rounded triangle, ellipse, triangle, polygon, and line and custom shape. Every time I see a shape tool, I assume there's lots of different shapes in there, which is great. You can even tap on there and customize your own width and height for it. You can either do it from center or from the area that you click on. Anyway, moving on. Rotate view tool. So this just rotates the entire document as you see it. If you get my meaning. It's pretty self-explanatory. But it's really cool as well. Oh. And if you hold shift, it would revert back to clicking into the I think this clicks it into looks like 25 degrees. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that looks about it. Is that better? No. I don't know. My mind's not on maths right now. Even though on one of the videos I said math was your friend. I was lying. I hate maths. I really do. Zoom tool, pretty easy to use, although I do use control, minus, plus, or 0 to do that anyway. It's pretty quick. I would say that it's very, very good to learn about the key bindings, which you can find after hovering over certain tools. So move tool is V, uh, rectangular marquee tool is M for marquee. Some of these tools will fall into their own key binding depending on their name. So I for eyedropper, spot brush, that's J, I don't know why. Brush tool, which is B, like I said, it just falls into its own name. Next one is I like to call it the attributes uh, toolbar. So we have the history here that we have. This covers everything that we've done. We can go as far back as we can, but for now, we're just going to go back to yeah, that's as far as we can go. We haven't really changed much from that. So yeah, we haven't really changed much from that. Yeah, we haven't changed much at all from that. Huh. So, anyway, the attributes editor is comprised of many tabs. You color your swatches, gradients, and patterns. I will let you guys look at that. When you add an image up, you will have its properties, adjustments that you can add to it, or the library, which I never really use, but if you need to, then that's great. You can use that. The main part of Photoshop, besides the left toolbar, will be the layers. Now, this comprises of everything that you've ever used in your project. Kind, the name, the effect, the mode, attribute, color, smart object selected, and artboard. Everything goes in here. Everything. I'd be surprised if there's something in your project that is not in here. But if there is, leave a comment and I will try and fix that. Because I like to fix these things. I like to make cool stuff, but I like to fix cool stuff. So yeah, in the bottom here we have a new layer. Delete a layer. Make a group out of a layer. Add adjustment layers. Layer mask. Layer style, and link layers. That is about it. And the two main colors that you can use are here if you can't find them here. That is about it. Besides the top toolbar just basically brings up the specific attributes of each one of these down the left. And on the top, you can go into any of these and get your effects, your layer settings, your even Photoshop settings, everything like that. Even types, whatnot. I will stress just before I finish this little tutorial up that Photoshop also has, like every other piece of software that I can imagine that does editing, they have templates on workspaces. So you can have your essentials, which is all of this. You can have your photography settings, which changes it a little bit, but your toolbars will just be tweaked a little bit, like this one. We haven't seen this one yet. Neither have we seen this one. We have painting, so we can go into painting everything up. We have more tabs on the side here, specifically designed for brushes. Some of the color palettes are already opened, so it preps us just to get on with it. Photography, yeah, we've covered photography, graphics and web. I don't really use that. 3D, never need to use this either, but I can imagine it's really cool. So yeah, I think you all get the gist right now of what we can do. I will leave you guys with this. In the next video, I will actually be getting to use some of these as an example. And that's about it, really. I will see you guys on the next video. I wish you all a good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, happy Christmas, happy Hanukkah, happy Pride Day, and happy Independence Day, happy British Day. Toodles!